So today we are filming from my car. You have no idea how long it took me to set this up because I had no way to position my tripod. And right now it is sitting on my glove compartment along with a little note that I have here, like my notes so I don't lose track. Um, we are under severe heat warning of up to 112 degrees. I literally stepped out the car to like walk to the park and I knew that there was no way I would be able to film. And yesterday I went to film and I filmed, and halfway through I noticed that my audio was not, it was off and my mic died. And when I look at the footage, I only had like 4 minutes of audio. So here we are in the car. I did my best to kind of balance this out where I can actually film because I have no other option. But I want to talk about today is visibility and allowing your, like, how we protect our visibility and how we block ourselves, because this is something that I see that is very, very common and everybody experiences this. Is not just me. We tend to start to protect our authentic self by not allowing it to show up and be seen because of the way that we were brought up in this world and what we were raised in, the society, schools, the whole system. It basically suppresses you from being authentic. And when you suppress your authenticity, you are basically blocking yourself from all of the blessings and possibilities that the universe has to offer you. And it goes so much deeper than we think, because it's not just, oh, I'm afraid of saying what I think and being judged, but it's also about your emotions, how your emotions are not validated, and that makes you feel not seen, and that makes you block your energy force. So you're blocking your energy every time you choose to stay quiet and not show up as you. And this is a learned behavior that we learned when we were little. All of us learned this behavior. It's a way of protecting ourselves from being judged, from being seen, from being understood, from experiencing life how we would like to experience life. It blocks us from absolutely everything, because all of the things that we were told as a child, where we were not allowed to be expressive, when we're not allowed to cry or show our emotions, or if you cry, you were crying for no reason, and then you were crying because you're stupid and you're a crybaby. Like all of those things that you were told as a child, they all start to build this protection around who you are and your authenticity. And you have to start to kind of show up in a way where you are submissive, you are quiet, you're not really responsive, you're not responsive to the things that you're being told, or you don't give your full honest opinion on something because you're afraid that if you do, you're going to probably get that person triggered, bothered, mad, upset, or they might end up telling you something. So it's so much internal work that has to be done in order for you to realize what is that you are really hiding and why are you hiding them, because this is only blocking your path in life. This is only blocking you from the ability of receiving. And I'm saying this because I am the perfect example of that. I have blocked my entire life, my own path, because I have allowed myself to not be seen for who I really am, and not giving my honest opinion about something. And when I have, it has been out of pure anger, and that's not a state that you want to be at. You have to kind of let your emotions flow, so that the anger, when you say things out of anger, it actually takes away from you, because the energy is so heavy and so dense, especially when you've been bottling it up and just filling that cup up until it explodes. The effects that it has in your body later on really takes a toll on you, because it physically affects you, it drains you, and you will feel so exhausted after you blew up, and that's something that I always experience. So talking about your feelings to someone and allowing yourself to be seen could be a good way for you to start to open up to possibility. And one of those options is actually speaking to a therapist. And this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes we do need a different perspective. We need someone from the outside to be able to guide us and give us their perspective on things, because we tend to talk to the same people in our life, like in our circle, which is family and friends, and they can never see more because they already know you. So in order for you to work with your emotions, you need someone from the outside, and therapy is the right choice for that. And with BetterHelp, you can go online, take a quiz, and that quiz will match you with a therapist that it feels is right for you. If you feel that the therapist is not the right fit, you can always switch therapists at zero cost. So you don't pay anything at all for switching to another therapist. And the cool thing is that you can talk to your therapist through video, through text, or through phone call. So it gives you different ways that you can communicate based on how comfortable you are. If you would like to try BetterHelp, you can click the link below and save 10% off your first month. I want to thank BetterHelp for being a sponsor of this video. Thank you so much. And now let's get back to our chat. So we are blocking our own flow into possibility because we are not allowing ourselves to be seen. The universe, and when I refer to the universe, I mean to source, I mean to creation energy, I mean to all that is. And I have gotten many people, they like to push their narrative on me, on their beliefs. I've gotten that a good amount of times. And I think that we all need to respect our perspectives and not push things on people. If people don't want to use a certain word, they don't have to use that word. If they see the higher intelligence, consciousness, awareness, and they refer to that as, and the intelligent being that has created life, that is something that should be respected. But having to push that you should be using this name and you should be saying it like this, I think that we are all allowed to have our beliefs expressed in a way that feels aligned for us. And that's why I always refer to a higher power. For me, it's the universe or it is source. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I think that the beauty of humanity is respecting other people's beliefs and other people's way of expressing a higher power. Okay. So, what I was saying, we block ourselves when we are not authentic. When we are afraid of being who we are, and we don't show up as who we are because we're afraid that we're going to be labeled, and we're afraid that we're going to be judged or maybe get in trouble, or that would cause an argument, then we automatically kind of just hide ourselves. We don't give our opinion. We don't speak up. And when you don't speak up, you're closing your voice. You're closing yourself off. And your voice has power. And it will create your reality. So if you have all these visions of things that you want to do in your life, but you are blocking yourself because you are not allowing yourself to be yourself and show up as who you are, it is going to block you from experiencing these things. And I say this because for a lot of times in my life, I've been wanting so many things in my life that I've been wanting to do, but I noticed that I have always have to keep quiet, and I cannot really express myself. I cannot really be authentic, and it's because I protect myself at home, right, or with people that I know that I have to protect myself, which is almost all the time. It becomes a normal thing to be protective of who you are, because you don't want to trigger someone else with your thoughts. You don't want to trigger someone else with your opinion. You don't want to. And we think that way because people easily get triggered nowadays. And I think it's gotten progressively worse. So we tend to just kind of stay quiet and allow things to just be the way they are and not say anything. Like I did that a lot with my ex. I would never really give my opinion back. And if it would hurt me and it would make me feel a certain way, I wouldn't say anything. I would stay quiet. I would just not even, like, I would think about it in my mind and I'd be like, man, like, that is not right. Like, what you just said is so wrong. And that's just such a negative thing to say. But I wouldn't say anything because I know that if I would end up in an argument of some sort. And what I tried to do always was to prevent the argument, to prevent the fight, to prevent name calling, labeling, to prevent all of these things. So what happens is that us women, we have been labeled when we express ourselves. Men, when they have expressed themselves, they tell men that they are not men because they're very expressive or because they're very emotional or because it's like the extreme of both worlds. Like women cannot be expressive because we just shouldn't give, women don't matter. And then men, you guys are too emotional. You guys, end up crying for things, or like, because you're told as a child, oh, men don't cry. And then when you do cry, you get labeled because you cried. So it's this whole thing about not allowing yourself to be seen, not allowing yourself to be who you are, not allowing yourself to feel your emotions, not allowing yourself to step into your authenticity and feel your emotions purely and rawly for who you are and be accepted just as is, and have someone hold space for you for when you are feeling this, like when you're feeling this way. And it's very hard to come by people who will actually hold space for you. It's very hard. I have never really experienced that, where there is someone who will hold space without them not giving their 3 cents or their opinion on why you're feeling this way, or allowing you to feel that way, allowing you to cry it out, allowing you to feel it, allowing you to express your thoughts. Because it becomes like a back and forth thing, like, oh, you told me your problems, but now I'm going to tell you my problems. And there is never any growth or any solution. It's just more of this almost like agreement of not allowing each other to be seen, more like covering each other with the more trauma and the more problems and the more things you guys can relate on, or we can relate on, what is causing the issue, versus holding space, allowing you to feel it, and then transmuting that into something that allows you to open more space and more energy so that possibilities can come your way. And one of the ways that we block ourselves is like the way that we see money, what we've been told about money, the way that we think about money, the way that we see that money is like you have to really bust your butt in order to get money, and how, money is like the hardest thing to obtain. And we all have this mindset over money and the scarcity of money. And money is connected to who we are and how we think, because money at the end of the day is currency, is an energy. And if you are not fully authentic, right, and you keep hiding, everything else that is meant for you is not going to be available to you because you are living inside the protective cocoon. And the only way to break out of that is by starting to show up for yourself, is by starting to allow yourself to be seen, even if people don't like it, even if people are going to give you an opinion, even if people are going to tell you whatever they might be. Now, if you live in a situation similar to mine where you do have to protect your authentic self, most of the time I am completely like away from them. Like I don't engage very much in any topic of conversation, and most of the time the conversations in my house are very repetitive. Like they are very repetitive. It's the same thing all the time. It's like a complaint about the same thing. And I do my best to not really engage. Like I said, I don't engage in any of those things, but I do tend to not really have conversations at home. It's not that I'm not being authentic. I just don't have an opinion to give them, especially when they're not really asking me for an opinion. They are just telling me stuff that like their problems most of the time, or it's their problems they're complaining about. So it's not related to me, but it's very, very important that you protect who you are in an environment that's unhealthy. Like, protect who you are in an environment that's unhealthy, but always stay true to you. Okay. And you don't have to go and disrespect anybody or anything like that, but stay true to you and try to protect your space as you try to navigate your way out of that environment. Because I do know, and I'm very aware of this, okay, is that because I am in this environment, okay, I know that the environment itself, no matter how open I am here, and no matter how open I can show up, in my environment, the density is there, and that automatically causes a blocking. Okay, it automatically causes a blocking, even though I'm making little shifts here and there. That the universe is like, hey, I see you. You are doing. So we're gonna give you little windows of opportunity, but it's not like when you're in a place where the toxicity or the density or the unhealthy environment is not there, and you have the full blown field of like pure possibility now, because you're not surrounded by the density. So you have to play it safe in your environment. Okay, that is not the best environment. You have to protect yourself so that you can feel a sense of safety within yourself, right? So that way you can continue to do your steps without letting anybody know what you're doing, and just doing them. They don't have to know. They don't have to give an opinion. They don't need to be involved. This is your life, and you are navigating it the best way you can with the things that you have right now, like the tools that you have in order to move through them. Because that is something that I do know, that we are the ones that keep blocking our own way. And because we don't want to be seen, we don't want to be seen, even though we might not even realize it. We don't want to be seen. We don't want people to know who we really are, our thoughts. Like, if I were to tell, like, for me, everything that I see, feathers, animals, everything I see, okay, for me is a sign. For me, it means something. There's a significance to it. And I always try to find the significance to it, okay? And if I say this, for example, if I maybe would have said this to my ex years ago, I'm pretty sure that I would have been ridiculed and laughed at. So those things like that, just something like that, that is not something crazy. It's just, something that has a meaning for you. To that person, it might be stupid. To that person, it might be ridiculous. That person might laugh at you. And that will cause you to not want to open up about these things that are uniquely you. You get me? They are authentically to you. They make you feel a certain way. And it's a connection that you have. Like, for example, I'm going to give you an example of what happened yesterday. Yesterday, because I have always talked to trees. And by I talk to trees, I don't mean that I go talking to them like, oh, blah, blah, blah. No. What I mean is that, like, when I ride bike or when I go outside and I look at trees or whatever, I compliment trees. I call out their beauty and how green they are, and I don't know, how beautiful they are, and how their leaves are so shiny, or the flowers. Like, I call them and I compliment them. And yesterday, I took my dog out around 8:30 p.m. Okay, I took my dog out, and there's this big tree that is not in my yard. It is in the yard that's next door, but it's a big tree that it leans over to my yard, and I stood in front of it. And for some reason, I just wanted to talk to the tree, and I felt, okay, I felt the consciousness, the presence of the tree paid attention to me. I felt that it was paying attention to me. And I felt like it was understanding what I was expressing to it. And if I tell it to someone else, they're going to be like, yeah, Susie, you're nuts. You're talking to a tree. But you cannot take away from me that I felt the presence of the tree. I felt the consciousness. It was paying attention to me. And I'm saying this publicly to the entire world because I really don't care what anybody thinks. That was my experience. And I felt the presence, okay, the conscious presence of the tree. It was paying attention to me. And to me, that was beautiful because now I feel like I can actually talk to trees. And I believe trees have wisdom. So that's what I mean by visibility is that if you do something, right, that you, something that you, it's unique to you, a way of connection, and you share that connection that you experienced with someone and you get ridiculed or you get laughed at or labeled, you automatically close yourself off. And now that path of possibility, because you're just being true in your nature, you're now closed it off. So what happens? There's lack coming through. There's no abundance coming through because you are the abundance. Okay? You are the abundance. And you have to realize that your abundance is here now. It's in this moment. And when you look all around you, everything is abundant. Look how many trees there are. Like, I'm looking at them right now. There are so many trees, so much green. I mean, oxygen is abundant. We all have oxygen. We all breathe oxygen. I mean, look how many cars. Cars are abundant. There's cars everywhere. Okay, so it's like everything comes in abundance, but we block it because of our visibility. We do not allow ourselves to be seen for who we are, so we block ourselves from receiving. And when we do that, that comes in all forms. That comes in finding the person that you want to be with or the person that is aligned for you. Finding money in the way that you would love to experience it, having enough money to live your life in being comfortable. You don't have to be a millionaire, but you can live comfortable and be able to afford things. But we block ourselves every time we don't want to be seen, every time that we don't express something, or we're afraid that we're going to be ridiculed by what we think, or because of what we believe in, or because of what we feel. We're blocking ourselves. And the more we block ourselves, the less opportunity and the less visibility is going to be shown out into the universe, because it's a signal that you send out. Everything is a frequency. Everything is a frequency. And when you are in that frequency of not allowing yourself to be seen, and you are inside that little box, you are going to keep yourself in that box, and opportunities will not come to you because you're blocking yourself from them. You're blocking yourself from the universe, because it becomes a point where you are afraid of being you, and being afraid lowers your frequency too. And that is something that I have dealt with all of my life, because I have been afraid of being me. I have been afraid of talking to a camera and looking at myself and then being like, oh my God, I don't like the way that I look. I don't like how my teeth look. I've been told, I was told as a young girl for a very long time, even as a teenager, that I had shark teeth. And, I've been called all these things, and I've been not allowed to be expressive. I would get told off all the time when I would say something, like all of these things, that made me, that made me who I was, because I was someone who, and I still am. I'm very magical. And I know that sounds crazy, but I am. Like, a lot of magical things happen when I really step into that. You get me? And I've seen the universe do that. Even in my chaotic environment, I have experienced these glimpses of magic and things that I know that come directly from a higher being, showing me like, hey, you matter. You just need to show up. You just need to stop let go, stop being afraid, let go of the patterns, let go of the things that you've been told. Start being you. Allow yourself to be seen. Let your emotions move, and yeah, let them move out. Let them be seen. Let them be expressed. Let them be understood. And we really need to allow ourselves to really feel deeply what we're hiding, being honest with ourselves. We have to let go of judgment. But we also have to remember that we have to maintain our safety within environments that are unhealthy, because your authenticity is always going to bother people. And when you show up authentically, you're going to get judged and dragged. So you want to protect yourself in the environment that you're in, if it's an unhealthy environment. So there are ways to do this without you losing your identity. Okay, you protect your space where you are. That doesn't feel in alignment with you. You protect your space. You protect your authenticity. Okay, but never submit to things that you don't believe in, or that you don't want, or like, for example, you have to stand up for yourself in some way without being disrespectful. If it means withdrawing yourself from a conversation and basically leaving the conversation, that is a way of you protecting your energy, and is a way of creating safety for yourself. And it doesn't give someone from the outside to say, hey, you left the table or you left the conversation. You can clearly be like, yeah, I left the conversation, it's not something that I want to talk about. And you leave. You don't have to give to problematic situations and conversations and things that don't feel aligned for you. You don't have to give it a response. You just can withdraw yourself and protect your space in that moment. But you don't not lose track of your authenticity and your power when you need it. Because, for example, this that I'm doing of showing up here on YouTube, it has allowed me to show up in ways for myself that I never thought was possible. It has helped me so many ways mentally. Like, this has been like my own source of inner journaling, and being able to have a community that I can resonate with and talk with, and receive the kind of energy that you guys put out, and the kindness and the love and the understanding and allowing me to be seen. That is something that is there is nothing more powerful to me than that, because it just shows you that you are not alone. It shows you how much more people are connected and united in the same way, and it shows you that there is hope in life. It shows you that there's possibility. It just takes the fact that you just need to start standing up and doing things for you, for the better of you, that align with your higher self, that don't shrink you. Because every time we don't allow ourselves to be seen, and we keep this visibility on allowing ourselves to show up as who we are, we're shrinking ourselves. And we're shrinking ourselves, and not just our emotions and our inner selves shrinking, but energetically we are contracting our energy into our body, and that creates a lot more density, and that does not allow us to open up space for new possibilities, new things, a way out, because we tend to like shrink ourselves so much that we don't find a way out, and we submit to all the things that keeps us this way. So you need to start to open up, like a flower. Little by little you go blooming into who you are, but you have to start to open up and allow yourself to start showing your authenticity, to start letting go of what you're afraid of. Don't worry about the judgments of other people. If you've been wanting to do YouTube and you have been thinking about doing it, but you're just afraid of what people are going to think, don't worry about what people are going to think. You do it anyways. Show up, say your story, talk about the things you love, be passionate, go for the passion. We tend to hide our passion also, our visibility. When we are not allowed to, we don't show ourselves, and we don't allow ourselves to be seen, we're also hiding our passion. We're not following our passion, because our passion might not be something that people are going to be like, oh wow, that's a cool thing you do. You might get ridiculed for your passion, and that keeps us so closed. That keeps us so closed, and shrinking our energy and shrinking ourselves. We can't continue to do that, because we need to live a life that's more open and more free and more, with more clarity. And and once you start to do that, it allows you to navigate the environment that you're in a lot better. If you live in an unhealthy environment, it allows you to navigate your environment a lot better. And I think that is something that will work in your favor as you're trying to come out of the situation that you might find yourself in, like me. So, yeah, um, that is really what I wanted to talk about today. And I think the best thing that I can advise you is to, like, please stop hiding and believe in yourself, because you believe in yourself, okay? But you also protect yourself, okay? Be authentic, be you, but also take care of you. Don't let people step all over you, because authenticity will hurt other people, it will bother other people, it will irritate other people, and then that can cause you to feel not safe for being yourself, and it causes you to close yourself up even more. So you have to be fully confident in who you are. Show up fully as yourself, and don't be afraid of being yourself. And remember to keep yourself protected energetically, mentally. There's going to be so many people that are never going to align with you, and that is fine. You will find the people that are meant to be aligned with you. Remember that. So have the courage to be yourself, okay? Have the courage to let go of being afraid of the things that you fear. If it's judgment, if it's being ridiculed, if it's being laughed at, if it's being mocked, if it's whatever it may be, just let go of those things and just show up just as you are. And the people that are meant to be in your life will start to arrive, because it's all magnetic. We attract energetically. And once we start to, like, raise our frequency, and by raising it is by feeling elevated about ourselves, feeling more confident, having more trust within ourselves, more belief within ourselves, and letting go of the stories that of what we believed of ourselves, you rise in frequency, and that frequency is going to match the people that are also in that frequency, and you're going to be surrounded by people who also think like you, believe like you, and are empowering like you. So, thank you so much for being here. Remember to please believe in yourself. I know that I rambled a lot, but it's one of those days. So, thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate every single one of you. I know I say this all the time. I am so grateful that you are all here in this community. Thank you so much. And I will see you soon.